Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of Keep Pushing. I'm your host, Sajid K. Reddy, and on today's show, we are going to be talking about a topic that I love, which is film and documentaries, specifically more so about documentaries. And the documentary we're going to be talking about is of a friend of mine, Andre H. Arruda. Today we have with us the director of that documentary. So, welcome, Kim.
Hey, welcome. Thank you for having me on the show and
No problem.
getting a chance to talk about Andre.
Yeah, absolutely. Andre was an amazing man who was a comedian here in Toronto. Such an inspiration to so many people, and just a funny guy. So I knew him very, very personally, very well as a friend, and great guy. So we'll talk about him, talk about the documentary. So tell me a little bit about your story of how you met Andre, because I know how I met him, but
Right, yeah. And it's amazing, in the making of this documentary, I'm still meeting people who knew Andre really well. I mean,
Yes.
that's the kind of guy he was. He circulated in so many circles. So the way Andre and I were so lucky to meet, back in the early 2000s, I was producing some comedy specials for the Comedy Network called Cream of Comedy.
Sure.
And what it did is showcased up-and-coming comedians, the best five in Canada, and then they'd get an hour-long special. So I was producing that. So part of the sort of casting process for that is they would have a show in Toronto at the Tim Sims Theatre called Fresh Meat.
Okay.
So the top 20 that were sort of chosen to be in the running were there. So one year I went to that. I didn't have any say in who got picked, but I saw Andre, and he immediately blew me away. His comedic timing, his sensibility, and the way he embraced his disability, and it empowered him.
yes.
So I was like, wow, who's this guy? I hope he ends up on the show. Unfortunately, he didn't. But what I did is kept him in mind. It's like, I want to work with him. So I think we stayed in touch because I was like, when you see people you want to be around, especially in the comedy world, you want to keep in touch with them.
Right.
So a couple of years later, I was producing a show for Global called Out of Bounds with John Oakley.
Okay.
And it was sort of a man talker show. Four guys get together and they volley back and
I
forth.
remember that show, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And so I produced season 2, and then season 3, so we wanted to do something different. We wanted to have an announcement. I thought, I've got the perfect guy. And so I hired Andre, and we did 65 episodes together. And he would do the intros, and he would sit in this giant hand, and they would throw to him. And we just had, and so my respect grew for him because working for him, and we became friends from that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what led you to actually start? What came up that you wanted to do a documentary, or he wanted to be a part of the documentary? How did that conversation go, and how did that evolve?
Yeah. Well, after Out of Bounds, I became a bigger Andre fan. I became a friend. So there was a number of TV series I was creating and try to get Andre to be the lead or a part, and none of them came together. These things happen when you're in the industry. You're always pitching ideas, but more importantly, Andre and I stayed friends. And so it was 2 years ago, through that friendship, that he announced on Facebook and to his friends that he was undergoing a very big experience in his life, that he'd been diagnosed finally after a year or two of this ongoing back pain and numbness in his leg. What is going on? So he realized that he had to have very serious spinal surgery. And of course, as a friend, your first reaction is like, wow, I hope you get through that. And if anybody can, certainly Andre can, as we know.
Yeah.
So, but I was busy finishing a documentary for the CBC called If the Poet. So as a filmmaker and as a friend, I don't want to commit to say, hey, I'm going to tell your life story, but can you wait for 6 months? Because it's not fair.
Right.
So I said to Andre, like, not only is your life an amazing story that should be told, but now you're going to go through this journey, and through the spring and the summer, and come September, you're going to have a big surgery, and it would be great as a way to show your resilience, your amazement, to document. And I said, you should go find another documentary filmmaker, get this going, right? And he goes, yeah. And I said, if you have anybody comes to you, I'll give you support, vet them for you, whatever.
Cool.
That never happened. So by the time the fall rolled around, I had enough free space because I had delivered my documentary. So I came back to Andre and said, hey, do you want to do this? And it was actually, he was laying in a bed up at in the spinal rehab hospital he was recovering in. And in true Andre fashion, it took him about 30 seconds to say, yeah, let's do it. So we started shooting almost immediately.
Yeah. Andre was a very, very inspirational guy, even to me. Like, we're about the same age. We were about the same age. I guess we are about the same age, rather. Yeah, I always wanted him to be a part of stuff that I was doing, and would have loved to have him here personally, but to honor him in this way, to have you on and to talk about his documentary, which is an amazing documentary that you can see on YouTube. By the way, we'll have the link up for you, so you can do that. So I'm glad you're here again. So let's take a little bit of a break, and in that break, you'll be able to see a clip from the documentary and also some pictures from Andre as well. And we'll be right back.
Almost dying. That changes you. I was that weird 4-year-old kid that if you asked, what do you want to be when you get older? And I said, I want to be a comedian.
I know what you're all thinking. The answer is yes. I am Portuguese. My name is Andre Garuda, and the H, to answer your question, stands for hero. Because that's what everyone calling me ever since I was featured in a harassment video that went viral a while ago.
Hey, Mini B, can you tie my shoes, man?
I became a disability advocate by accident. By living my life. Well, I don't have a disability until I'm confronted with someone that says, well, you can't get in here because of your height. After my 30th birthday, I woke up with my left leg feeling unnaturally cold.
The next 3 years, I'm going from doctor to doctor, having tests, x-rays, MRIs, CAT scans. You have a spinal compression. Basically, you're gonna need to have surgery, or you can become paralyzed from the waist down.
When I saw the initial post of straight out of surgery, laughed so hard, typical Andre, and then
at night, I got pneumonia. I stopped breathing.
We thought he was gonna die.
That month was just like one nightmarish blur. Everyone has their own obstacles they have to overcome, and mine are different, and probably there's more than the average person, but I have so many things I want to do, and I'm not going to stop until I finish them.
Freedom!
One of my goals is to one day star in a movie where Tom Hanks and Bill Murray are my two gay dads.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. You guys just saw a clip called Yes, I'm Portuguese. And we're going to turn back to Kim and have Kim tell us why the clip was named that and what's the significance of that.
Yeah.
Kim.
So that's a short little clip from the 17-minute documentary that I produced called Andre the Anti-Giant. And what it is, it's and again, you get a little taste of Andre finally, and through our stories and watching the full documentary, you'll get to experience what an incredible human he was. But one of the main things he would do, because of his 3-foot-something stature, that's what is going on into everybody's head, because we're all visual people, and we're instantly label it. So here he is, a guy in a comedy circuit. He struggles to get on his chair, and he goes, yes, I know what you're thinking, I'm Portuguese. Because he was Portuguese, as opposed to people always diving into disability. I don't have to tell you about that.
Right, absolutely.
So what it really says to me was Andre's just incredible spirit. He was not afraid of who he was. He was very proud of who he was, and he was able to overcome any obstacles thrown to him. And one of the biggest obstacles that the film later chronicles was he had a spinal compression and the midway down his back, and he was basically going to become paralyzed if he didn't have this surgery. And that was a result of a lifelong challenges related to being born with Morquio syndrome, a whole barrage of challenges. But Andre, he had the choice of like not doing this life-threatening surgery, and he chose to do it. And that was the impetus for me to say, wow, what a great backdrop to show this incredible human. And I followed him through surviving the surgery with some ups and downs, as you would see, some major downs, and through learning how to walk again.
Yes.
And getting back on stage to do what he loved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the key, getting back to doing what he loved.
Yeah.
Regardless of the obstacles that he had.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And that's one of the big lessons. And for me, it was as an able-bodied person, and as a friend of his, a certain, when you become friends with someone, you look past whether you're 7 foot tall,
Yeah.
3 foot tall, you're blonde, you're beautiful, you're wide, you're whatever.
Yeah.
So I knew Andre as Andre,
Yes.
but sort of being a fly in the wall of his world, I got to see what it was really like what it really meant to wake up.
Yeah.
And get to the washroom and get to the couch or get to his computer.
Yeah.
For me, I don't think about it.
Right.
I'm sort of gifted in this body. I can do whatever.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
So for me, it was very touching to allow him, let me film his life like that to share for others, but
Yeah.
also show that was not an obstacle for him.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, Andre was definitely somebody who just powered through all obstacles, and so that was one of the reasons I respected him and admired him so much. And he would always, as we were discussing before we started filming, he would always stop and talk to people that he knew or didn't know, just because they recognized him from the comedy circuit or what have you. Even though he may have been so busy, he gave people the time. So Andre was an amazing person for that. So tell us a little bit about you and what you've got going on for the future in terms
Yeah.
of
Well,
documentaries.
part of it is the film just got released on BravoFact.com.
Cool.
Which is great because it just finished a year-long festival circuit. So
Yeah.
it showed in San Francisco,
Oh, nice.
Los Angeles twice, Calgary, Edmonton, Ottawa, and even Belgrade. It was at a Belgrade festival. So it had a great festival run. So now it's out there, and because Andre's story was so incredible, I shot enough for a feature film.
Yes.
So part of the challenge and my goal is to keep spreading the wonder of Andre and his story is to find funding for that. So that's part of what I've got going. Also as a filmmaker, I've got a couple other documentaries I'm doing. I'm a writer and all that too. But a lot of it is really to try to keep the spirit of Andre alive and honor his legacy.
Yeah. Andre was, Andre through this documentary, he was already this, but through this documentary, he's going to become an international ambassador for all people of all abilities. That's amazing. So anybody out there who knew Andre, please like and comment this video, and also go check out Andre the Anti-Giant on YouTube.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
on YouTube, and you can also go to the film's website,
Which is?
antigiantdoc.com.
There it is. So check it out. Great film. Really liked it. It really captured Andre really, really well. I'm honored to have you on the show, representing Andre and representing the film and the documentary. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's really special to me to know I'm sharing it with another friend, and I keep
Absolutely.
finding more and more friends. And after people watch this,
Yeah.
you will be a friend too, because he was that kind of spirit. So thank you for
Absolutely,
your time.
no problem. So you can where can people find you?
Yeah, they can find me at my production company, AmazingAintIt.com. That's AmazingAintIt.com. And that's where you can find more of all the different inspiring projects. Andre being one that's extremely passionate, and I'm so thrilled I can now share it with the world.
Yeah. It's going to be great. And you can find me on all social media, Sajid K. Reddy. So until next time, everybody, take care. And for those of you who celebrate, happy holidays. See you in 2018.